Health and wellness are more than a destination. They are a process and a journey of personal choice. Come hear from people out in the field, doing the work, bringing health and wellness to many. Welcome, everybody. Today, we're so excited to delve a little bit deeper into health coaching. We're going to really talk about the importance of health coaching and why it's so important today to have health coaches in every aspect of our healthcare, including hospitals, insurance companies, the private sector. And luckily, we have Tanya here who has amazing background in many avenues of wellness, and she is in the sector of private and the hospital. She also is a nutritional therapist and a health and wellness coach with a Wellness Revolution. We're delighted to have you, Tanya. Can you tell me a little bit about your background and what has brought you to this moment?
Yeah. So thanks for having me, Kathleen. This is great.
Yeah, it's nice.
I guess in my life, I've always been a helper. So I was the type of person, you have a problem and I'm the person that wants to fix it. And let me give you a little background here. So in high school, I was set on going to university to be a physician. And that quickly shifted when I realized that I didn't like organic chemistry at all.
I understand.
So, my background ended up transitioning into health management. And then I went on to get my master's of public health. And, the great part about that is that it prepared me for all these wonderful things that you do as a health coach, like program development and understanding community health and understanding the etiology of diseases. But I wanted to connect with people on a different level. So I wanted to be a motivator and I wanted to be an encouraging force in someone's life, really helping people with individual behavior change. So, my inspiration to become a wellness professional was really inspired by, my love for fresh whole food. I really love food. The idea of finding movement that feels good to you, and then also that idea of you have the power to live the best possible life. So it was that combination that really inspired me to do what I'm doing today.
Yeah, I can understand. And that is so much what connects us. I can relate to that. I can relate to it because as a nurse, we weren't taught all those things about wellness. We were really focused on the illness. And at a certain point, you have to choose what you're going to focus on. And I think that's wonderful.
And what's interesting is when I was, 17 years old, deciding what I was going to university for, there really was no health coaching. There really was no support system. It was you're clinical or you're on the management and policy side, and it really took a lot of discovery for me to find that, hey, this is out there. Yeah. And now it's really becoming something relevant.
And it's interesting that you say that because when I was young, I got a health education degree. That was my first bachelor's. But the thing is, now they're saying, okay, health coaching, we need coaching. Oh, yeah. And we also need education. And we have to choose when we use those two hats because they're a little bit different. So you have been really interesting in the fact that you put them inside, you have a job, you have followed your path now to put those two hats on at the University of Penn where you work. You are the corporate health educator, which does encompass coaching, I believe. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So let me clarify that I have two jobs. Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Two jobs. What am I thinking? But, so I have my own private nutrition practice called Live Fresh, where I practice personalized nutrition through blood work. And I also do genetic testing. Wonderful. But at Penn Medicine, Lancaster General Health, what I do there is I'm a health educator and I also oversee the entire health coaching program. Okay. So not only do I, really help really maintain. I do health coaching also, but I oversee about 13 coaches. But I also give health and wellness presentations going back to that education component, and developing those health education presentations so that people can
Yeah.
understand, at the lay level.
Yeah. That's wonderful though. That's so important. So let me ask you a little bit more about your background. What from your background has helped you to do this work?
I don't know. Like that's a really good question because I've always been an open and curious person. And I think having that type of attitude um, really allows you to be open to different opportunities. Because when I got my undergrad degree, it was really focused on health management. So that policy and the electronic medical record was really big then. So it was really about
Yeah, I
data.
remember.
It was about data. And then in public health, it was different. I chose my path of behavioral and community health sciences, so more around education and community development. So that probably prepared me for the education component,
Yeah.
but not for health coaching at all. that
Wow.
was that was more something that I had to be open and curious to, and then move forward to get those degrees,
Yeah,
get
and I
the
think
certification.
I think right now with what's happening, how important it is that you have a public health. That public health is so important. I mean,
So
and coaching and education are such a big part of it. So let's talk a little bit about what you do at University of Penn because you have your own health coaching business, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But what do you do for University of Penn as a health educator and as a health coach and helping the coaches there? That's
yeah.
very
So I, I have a lot of different hats at
yeah,
this job. So we are the corporate wellness team. So we work with the employer wellness program. So we have about 9,000 employees at Penn Medicine Lancaster General Health in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. We are under the umbrella of Penn Medicine. So we provide all of the wellness services to the employees, but we also have employer groups that we provide wellness services to. So it's not only our internal employees, it's corporate groups that we work with. So we're constantly going out, making sure that we, have their wellness programming planned for that entire year, giving health presentations. I'm the lead presenter on our team, so I'm the one that's always out on the field. And it's hard for me now because I'm not able to do that
yeah,
with the
I
current
can
circumstances.
imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm usually the one going out to the companies internally. People know me as, the My Healthy Living team is me and four other people, and that's what our internal wellness program is called.
Yep.
So, people know my face. People know, hey, if I have a question about programming, call Tanya, or if I want her to come present on stress, she's going to be there. So, really lots of hats. And then our health coaching program is super dynamic. It's really cool. We have people from all different areas. So, exercise physiologists, dietitians, health educators, nurses, really cool. So, it's really about being able to offer free health coaching to every single employee. We offer 3 free sessions to every single employee. And just, in terms of my role, it's really about connecting. The concept of wellness in general can be incredibly overwhelming for people. And, especially if you have those barriers in your way, you kind of just give up. That's what people do. But my goal is to take these health coaches and, have them be guides and motivators and partners to help individuals remove those roadblocks. So,
Definitely.
it's really about, our coaches are there to help each individual develop their own roadmap and guide them on the right path to intentional positive change.
That is so wonderful, Tanya. I'm
Mhm.
so proud of you that you do all this. It's amazing. It's so important. So I understand what you're saying, though, that you really work with the employees to help them. But what do you think is going to happen in the future in hospitals? Because I can imagine health coaching is going to become not only for doctors, because I know a lot of health coaches that work directly with doctors or insurance companies, or they work on their own, like you do. You have a private practice. But what about hospitals?
Yeah, well, as of right now that I know of, I we do not have any patient-facing health coaches that I know of. Like, I know we have clinical nutrition and, things like that, but I do see that coming in the future. It may not be, today, but I do see that coming in the future, because that is the health coach plays such a vital role in someone's care team.
Yeah.
So, the health coach is there, as you know, Kathleen, to really help somebody understand complex health conditions and chronic issues, and, have them actively participate in their own care.
Yeah.
So at some point at the patient level, this is going to be happening. There's going to be health coaches for the patients. And I think patients right now are encouraged by, their care team, their physician, or, nurse practitioner, whoever they see, the PA, to seek a health coach if needed.
Yeah. That's so true. So how would you, like, what kind of role does the health coach exactly play? You mentioned you, as a teacher, you teach about stress, but what would health coaches do for patients? Let's think about that. Or in the private sector.
The way I think about it is, for instance, take someone who's pre-diabetic. A lot of times people who are in that pre-diabetic range have no idea that they're even there. Their doctor may look at, 102, you're good, your blood sugar is good. No, that's the red flag, right? That's that pre-diabetic category. And if we can flag that, then the health coach can successfully guide the patient to make mindful choices about food, understand the importance behind managing glucose so they don't get to that diabetic level, and then, help them develop more mindful awareness around every choice that they make in their life.
Yeah. So it's not just food, of course, and it's
It's not.
behavior. It's habits, because we know, like, it's not so easy just to change your habits. It's one thing to know what's good for you, it's another to do it. And
Yes.
the nutritionalist work, the dietitian can create a great program and help the client to see the better diet for them. But I think when you get down to it, what really is the problem, and I'm sure you can expand on this, but
Mhm.
it is really changing habits that makes a difference, and being committed, like you said, taking responsibility. What do you think about that?
Kathleen, you're absolutely right. So behavior change is so tricky.
Yeah.
We know that. I think all of us can agree. If we've ever tried to change something or implement something new in our own lives, you know how hard it is. It is not, think about quitting smoking. It's not like, tomorrow I'm done smoking. It's really a process. And, we have to understand, from a health and wellness perspective, that there is so much more to wellness than these physical components of moving your body and eating good. Like, we have to look outside the box emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, intellectually. We have to have this whole 360 approach. And that is what's awesome about having a health coach, is that they dig deeper than, oh, hey, I just want to change your eating habits.
Yeah,
It's really
exactly.
digging why you're doing those things.
Yeah. Oh, I love how you said that. That is perfect. That's true. And I believe in it. And that's why we do what we do. But
Yes.
I think it's the future, in the sense also, I think you can understand this, how in the past, we thought, okay, it does help to have education. It
Mhm.
really does. But that's like step one. You need
Right.
to work, and we need to do it individually, because everybody's so different. And what are you seeing, like, with the employees when you're working with them? I'm curious.
Well, not all of our employee groups participate in health coaching, but we see such phenomenal results
Wow.
and behavior change that, we're being asked by so many more companies to come back.
Yeah.
Like, we really see so much change in our employees, and as an employer, giving that just valuing your employee in that way and valuing their wellness is so incredibly important.
Yeah.
It's so important for productivity and, making sure that there's no days lost. I mean, that is so important. That's why these wellness programs, almost every company has a wellness program or starting one up
Yeah,
at this
it's the future, because we can't keep the illness is breaking the system. So if
point.
wellness is here and illness is here, I always say we're all somewhere in between. And if we focus and we don't pay attention and we don't think about all the things that we have to do in our life to stay balanced, eventually we'll end up on the wrong side of it. So it's very important to really in the future to have a health coach, have more and more health coaches
Yeah,
to
and
help.
Kathleen, I just wanted to add another thing. What's really cool about what we do at, Lancaster General, um, is, we do take biometric data. So those companies that work with us, we're able to pinpoint those people who have high cholesterol levels or that are in that pre-diabetic category, and then develop programs specifically for them,
That's
which is
wonderful.
really cool.
That is cool. It's
Yeah.
amazing, actually. I'm so excited to hear this because when I was a nurse, we just didn't have any of this. So it's very, very exciting. So, Tanya, tell me a little bit about the challenges you have in this work you do, this most important work.
That's interesting. You know what, when I think about challenges, there's probably 50 things that come to mind, but there's two that really stand out. And I think one of the challenges is not taking on other people's energy. So like when you have knowledge and passion and um, you know, you really have the drive to want to help people change, it becomes your daily focus. And, for a lot of the people that I health coach, I become their confidant and their friend. And it's really important for me as a practitioner to stay and a coach to stay grounded and focused so that I can help them to the best of my ability and not take on their energy.
Wow, I
So,
understand. So that's number one. And
yeah.
I relate to that. And
Yeah.
number two?
And two is really keeping up with all the ever-changing information. I just want to encourage every single health coach that if someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer, it's okay to say, you know what? I don't know, but I'm going to find out for you, because there's so much noise out there. And it's our job to cut through that noise and find out what's going to work best for that individual, and just keeping up with the ever-changing science. And there's always things to keep up with, and I think that is really challenging.
Totally. Wow, I can relate to that
Mhm.
because we're constantly at Wellness Revolution, we're constantly doing research. As you know, we're very science oriented. And I am amazed at what they're finding out more and more in neuroscience, all of
Mhm.
the epigenetics. It's incredible, actually. So, Tanya, tell me a little bit about where you see professional health and wellness coaching going in the future. Like, what would you say? Why is it so important, for instance, to get certification?
Anyone can give advice, Kathleen. You know that. Anybody can give advice. Google gives lots of advice every day, right? My neighbor gives advice.
Yeah.
Everybody gives advice. But when you have a certification, this shows that, hey, one, I have the skills, two, I have the knowledge, and three, I'm competent in my field. Okay. And I also desire to practice at the highest level of quality. So a certification really demonstrates that you're committed, and you know the latest information, and you're constantly engaging in continuing education. And that is important. I mean, think about dietitians. They have to have certifications. Doctors have to have certifications, so health coaches should have to have certifications also.
Yeah, and it will go there. It is going there.
It is, you are correct, it is going there.
Yeah, and professionally, everything that is professional has a standard, right? So we do need to uphold a standard for all our professions. As a nurse, it's also evolved nursing. I remember reading the history when I was in nursing school about nursing. How
Yeah.
much it had changed. I mean, nurses do more like what doctors do now than they ever did. And the system's just shifting. So it constantly needs to be explored and evaluated. So I think health coaching is in its infancy, actually.
I agree. I agree 100% with you.
So let's talk a little bit now about your private practice because you also work on your own. Was that, tell me why you do both and what you find is the difference and a little bit about that.
So my private practice is my baby. I created this practice when I was living in Europe. I was living in Germany, and I had a small baby, and I had all this knowledge, and I was like, I have to put this to use. So I really wanted to start my own practice to do a more personalized approach to health. So in my practice, I offer personalized nutrition programs through blood work. And I also do genetic testing so that people are able to, really see, what is laid out in front of them, what, kind of their map, and then how we can make positive lifestyle choices so that you can navigate the right direction on that map.
That's so
So
important.
it's really, really cool, Kathleen. And I unfortunately am not able to do that in the hospital setting. And, it's like I said, it's my baby. I've successfully put over 75 clients through programs where they have had really fantastic changes in balancing their hormones and losing weight and getting their cholesterol under control, or their liver and kidney function. That is awesome. That feels really good when someone says to you, hey, you changed my life because you didn't give me a one size fits all approach.
Oh my God.
You really personalized what I needed for my optimal wellness.
That is so special. When you were saying that, I was like getting the chills because that is the future. What you just explained. It's looking at people at the cellular level, looking at their uniqueness, and what works for them does not work for another person. So how you explain that, I mean, I totally believe in this. And I believe in the future there'll be more coaches and therapists doing this kind of work.
Yeah. And, Kathleen, I know you and I have talked about this a lot, but oftentimes as humans, we don't think about ourselves, but we're just made up of cells. So if we're not nourishing at that cellular level, that's when things start to go haywire, because your body only experiences balance when all the nutrient levels are met, when you're fueling it, with happy, good vibrations. You have great social health, going back to that 360 approach. That's when balance happens.
Exactly, because our emotions actually affect our cell receptors. And now we know that because you know that just even with the opiate receptor, how
Yeah.
that is how we get addicted to things. So it's so important to look at the cellular level for health and wellness. And I believe that that is the future also. Tell me a little bit about more about your private practice. Like, what is it? When did you start doing it? And how many clients a week? And how does that look for you? Like, you're so busy. Oh my goodness. How do you do it all? You're
Well,
amazing.
originally, when I started the practice in 2015, I was able to take about, about 5 clients a month. So, I was very new at it, so I didn't want to overwhelm myself. And then I was really working myself up, to like 10 to 15 clients a month. But now because I took this position with Penn Medicine, I scaled back. So now I see about anywhere between 3 to 5 clients a month. For me, it's really important to give good quality care. And I don't want to, take on 10 people when I know I only have the energy for 5. So I really limit myself now. And, like I said, everything I do is so incredibly personalized that when I work with an individual, it's not a quick 30 to 45-minute session. These are 90, sometimes 60 to 90-minute sessions, figuring out what that person needs and, really kind of addressing barriers and how do you move forward.
Yeah, that is so special. And I think co-creating with the client, like finding out what the client needs, it takes time because
Yeah.
we don't all know.
Yeah. And, Kathleen, the clients that come to me in my practice, my private practice, they are generally female, generally between the age of 30 to 65. They're experiencing hormone issues. They've been diagnosed with autoimmune. They're already in that pre-diabetic category. So they have ongoing chronic conditions. And they usually come to me to say, hey, I am not figuring this out by myself. And I really, really need a personalized approach.
Wow,
So
that's
that,
great. Just to change behavior so that they can be successful. Like, we have a lot of beginner coaches. What advice would you have?
I would say find find like a niche that you really love. Okay, like you can't do it all. I know we all want to do it all, but find something that you're really good at. Some people are really good at mindfulness-based stress reduction. Others are really good at the fitness component, that movement component. Others are really good at more mental, emotional health focused. Some are better at nutrition, but really, as a health coach, find where your niche is so that you can focus on that instead of trying to be everything for everyone. We all want to help in every way, but really narrowing down your focus is going to help you as a health coach. And also stay open and curious, always continually learning. And like I said before, if you don't know something, that is okay. And just be honest. Don't ever give advice or tools or anything if you don't feel 100% confident behind that. So it's okay to say, hey, you know what, I'll get back to you on that, because I really want to find you the right answer, or I really want to give you the right tool that's going to work best for you.
So, Tanya, this has been so nice. I'm so delighted that I had this time with you. And I thank you for sharing all of this, because I'm sure people are out there wondering, like, what does a health and wellness coach actually do? And what can it bring me? And what do they do in hospitals? And I think you answered it so well. Thank you very much. Is there anything that you would like to add?
Well, thanks, Kathleen, for having me. It was really fantastic chatting with you. And, one thing I would add is, if follow your passion, and, you don't have to be a wellness professional or have this strong interest in, science to become a health and wellness coach. Anybody from any background can benefit from this knowledge, whether you're a lawyer, whether you're an accountant, anybody can. So really, I really encourage people to step outside of the box and follow their heart, and really open themselves up so that they can even help themselves from a wellness perspective.
Oh, thanks, Tanya. I agree, and I really appreciate that. And I think for anyone listening, in this time that we're in right now, how important it is to be authentic and be who you truly are. And following your passion is really the only way. So thank you, Tanya.
You're welcome.
I'd like to thank everyone here today for joining us to hear from Tanya. And I would like to thank you for subscribing and for following us. Next month, we're going to look at emotional healing, and we look forward to seeing you again.